Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan, at MS Pearce. Just a really quick video over something that I think is possibly quite extraordinary. Just when you thought this week couldn't get any weirder, says No Reports, Trump drops a message on his Truth Social account, showing a message from NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte calling his Iran strike truly extraordinary and claiming Europe is going to pay in a big way and it will be your win. John Jackson says Trump is releasing private messages between himself and Mark Rutte, the head of NATO. This is how desperate for adoration and unstable Trump is after the ceasefire debacle, which was this morning where he called it ceasefire and then it was broken immediately. He will put collective security at risk to soothe himself like a damn baby. And as Mark Lowen says, just when you thought your jaw couldn't drop any further, Donald Trump releases a private message sent by NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte with a very big claim and written, it would seem, in the most Trumpian language. NATO has confirmed to the BBC that it is genuine. What a world. Well, I'm going to go to Truth Social. I'm actually going to read you two pretty extraordinary things from his Truth Social. The first one is this message from Mark Rutte. And it's incredible. Like, this was sent from Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO, former Prime Minister of the Netherlands, sends this privately to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I presume, does not ask permission and just shares it on Truth Social. That is incredible. What a thing to have done. I assume people are going to think very long and hard about whether they send Trump messages in private and what they send him. This message as well, from the content's point of view, is pretty fascinating. And it's, I guess, to be expected, but it's quite sad that this is the world we live in. The world we live in is a world where world leaders have to obsequiously fawn over Donald Trump in private to soothe him, to massage his ego, in order for him to just do pretty normal standard things, cooperative things that allies would be expected to do. Trump is so unreliable that you have to butter him up first in order for him to be there in the room. So this is what Mark Rutte says, and just note the language here. And it seems ridiculous that he would have to say this, but this is a state of play. Mr. President, dear Donald, congratulations and thank you for your decisive action in Iran. That was truly extraordinary and something no one else dared to do. It makes us all safer. You are flying into another big success in The Hague this evening. It was not easy, but we've got them all signed onto 5%. What he's talking about is that all NATO members are going to sign up to moving towards 5% of GDP expenditure on defence. Something that Trump has been wanting, he certainly wanted everyone to get to at least a 2%, and he was talking about more and more and more. Although recently he did say that he wasn't sure that the US should have to do this, but everyone else should. Anyway, Donald, you have driven us to a really, really important moment for America and Europe and the world. You will achieve something no American president in decades could get done. Europe is going to pay in a big way, as they should, and it will be your win. Safe travels, and see you at His Majesty's dinner, Mark Rutte. And he's just posted that, no preamble, no statement. That is some incredible rhetoric there from Mark Rutte that just, it is doing a job. It's functional, this. And it's not so much that this should make Mark Rutte look any the worse for saying this. I presume it's necessary that he has to say this. What we should do is look at Trump and say, really? You demand this? I mean, he might not explicitly demand this, but the situation demands that Mark Rutte writes something as cringeworthy as this to massage the ego of Donald Trump. Because Trump is ultimately a huge narcissist. And I've spent more time looking at Truth Social than ever before in the last day or so, just to get a handle on what Trump is saying with regard to the Iran war. And as I trawl through just him, and I'm not looking at anything else other than his own feed, and the whole thing is just a series of, if it's not him ranting about something, then it's him congratulating himself or sharing memes about how wonderful he is. I'm just going to show you this next Truth Social post and leave you with this. I can't believe he would say this. Now that we have made peace abroad, we must finish the job here at home by passing the great big beautiful bill and getting the bill to my desk ASAP. It will be a historic present for the great people of the United States of America as we begin the celebration of our country's 250th birthday, etc., etc., etc. This is first part here. Now that we have made peace abroad. If you're being charitable, you can say, well, we made peace abroad in Iran and Israel because they've got this fragile ceasefire that he had initially announced but then was broken. But I think they're sort of now at the moment holding back. It's like, well, now we've got peace abroad, we must finish a job here at home. As if like there isn't a massive war going on in Ukraine. So, I mean, if you're being really charitable, it's like we've got peace abroad in this particular place. But, you know, it's probably worthwhile being as accurate as possible when you are the Commander-in-Chief and President of the United States of America. It's like Ukraine doesn't exist for Trump. It's just not, it's not on his radar. How sad is that? Now that we've got peace abroad, well, we've done that. Peace abroad, brilliant. Right, let's talk about the big, beautiful bill at home. Fair enough, you need to concentrate on domestic politics. Of course you do. But don't go around saying that you got peace abroad, job done. Thank you very much. Now let's look elsewhere. When there's been a war going on since 2014 in Ukraine and is now in its third year of full-on proper invasion of the Russians, or by the Russians of the Ukrainians. Just Trump's rhetoric is always astonishing, and pretty much always for the wrong reasons. But he just can't help himself, this man. But it does give you a window into his views on Ukraine and where Ukraine sits in his psyche, which is, let's have a look, nowhere. It sits nowhere. He doesn't care one iota for Ukraine. He doesn't really care for Israel. He cares for Israel being a means to an end for him. Like peace in Iran and stopping these two countries warring. He's not doing that to stop the war. There's no intrinsic value in that. He doesn't look at things and go, oh, he might say that, but he doesn't really believe it. This is all about extrinsic value, which is, how does this make me look? If I can enforce a peace here, how will it make me look? Does it get me closer to getting a Nobel Peace Prize? That's all he cares about. Anyway, that's enough from me. Take care. Speak soon.